and welcome back to my channel. Today on my channel, I am going to be doing a face of the month, get ready with me, whatever you want to call it. I have not done one of these in so long, but this look has been my absolute favorite go-to look for the last 2 months at least. I would say since the end of December, I have been consistently doing this look with some variation of a foundation and concealer, maybe different. I have a bunch of new products that I'm gonna show you guys that you may have seen in wear tests, but it will show you what I'm wearing and using and loving right now. And some items that are just tried and true, and I have been loving and using them for many years. If you are new around here, I would love if you subscribed and followed along here on my channel. And if you have been around here for quite some time watching my Get Ready With Me and Face of the Months, I feel like this one's a little bit more of a throwback one. It's a little bit more chatty. It's not quite as straightforward of, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm using. It's a little bit more chatty and a little bit more conversation, which I like that. I didn't feel as rushed. I didn't feel as pressured to like tell you guys exactly step by step. I just kind of like talked through all of it like I was talking to a friend. So we're gonna jump right into getting this look. Starting off, this product I have been obsessed with, and it is from Tula. I've never tried anything else from them. This is the only thing I've ever tried. It's called the Glow and Get Up, and it is a cooling and brightening eye balm. They have one that's like pink and one that's like golden tone. If you guys know anything about these or have one you like, it just feels so good under the eyes. So I let that sit for a couple minutes and really kind of sink in and cool off my eyes. I do put on my lip plumper. This is the City Lips lip plumper. This is the only one I like or use. And I put it on. It just makes your lips, they don't tingle too much. Like, they just feel nice. They don't feel gross, and they make your lips look very pretty. So I use and love this, guys. So I love a good under eye brightener. That's where I want to make sure I have the most brightness under my eyes. But a lot of times I love the Tarte one and the Becca one. They have great colorings to them. However, they're very thick. And when they're thick, the problem for me is, as I'm aging, I'm 47 years old, they settle into fine lines and wrinkles, which makes them more noticeable. This one is so thin and so nice. I don't know why I stopped using this. It is so good. It's around $10. I mean, you can't beat that. The next step for me is my foundation, and this is a newer foundation to me. And it is crazy pricey, guys, but it is so good. I did not want to love it, but I really do. It is the Estee Lauder Re-Nutriv. It is the Ultra Radiance Liquid Foundation in the color Pebble 3C2. So I take my coaster and I do 2 pumps of this down here, and then I'm gonna get my brush. I tried it with a brush and with a sponge, and I just prefer it with the brush. This is an IT Cosmetics foundation brush. There are so many of them out there that are so similar. They change up like the handles and they change up the shape a little bit, but they are all exactly the same. Like, here's another one I have. Like, it's so funny. They're so exactly the same, but they make them look slightly different. Like, you need a new one. You don't. They are all the same. Look how pretty that is, guys. It's just, oh, it's just such a pretty foundation, and it lasts so nicely. It's just, I can't say enough good things about it. It does have a light scent to it, so be aware of that, because some people don't like scents. Figuring in this video, I've been doing so many wear tests lately, and there's so many products that you guys are probably like, how is she using them? You know, you see me do it in a wear test, but you're not really seeing me use it daily and see how I use it. Plus, there's a lot of products that I actually am using that aren't something that I would do a wear test on. Now, I do go over this. This is a personal choice. Some people say not to do this. Some people say they don't like this. I like to do this. I think it blends out that brightener, but I'm tapping it. I'm not dragging it, okay? And then I'm going in around my nose, making sure I get all those little areas. There is nothing left on here. And then I take whatever is left and I just go into my hairline. Now my hair is just tied up right now, and I bring it down my neck. My hair is just tied up right now, but I'm gonna pull it down and curl it in a little bit. So I am just tapping this in, make sure it's all in good where I want it. really saturate the areas that I like the most. So the next thing that I've been doing is using this. Now, I am obsessed with this thing. It's from Tarte. It is called the Shape Tape Eye Primer. And it's like a crayon. You twist it up. And I put this on my eyelids to even them out. It reminds me of an easier thing to use than Painterly Paint Pot. Do you guys remember that from MAC back in the day? It reminds me of an easier version of that. Very similar as far as color-wise, but it just makes it so easy and it makes your shadow stay so nice. Next item is another item that I have talked about in favorites, and I am loving this. I use this every single day. It is from a brand called Iconic, and it is just their original one. And it comes in a dropper. I don't know why I don't use the dropper. I just simply, I mean, I guess somebody can. I take it out, and whatever is on here, I just kind of go up and around. I do the same thing on this side, and it's getting less as it goes up. And then whatever is still on here, I'm going to put up in my brow bone. Now see, that one got more. So I'm going to try and get some here, and I do my Cupid's bow. You might be like, that's a lot. It is. Now you can use a brush or a sponge here. Today I'm going to use the brush just because I feel like it. And I just tap it in. I always start with the cheeks first because if you don't do that right away, it can get a little bit, you can like see the dots. But how beautiful is that? It's just, it's like a natural glow from your skin. Again, I am oily combination skin type, so I don't ever want to look oily or too highlighted. This is just like a healthy, your glow from within type of look. Next up is an oldie but goodie. This is my Laura Mercier translucent loose mineral powder. I finally had to break open a new one of them. So here's a little trick. I've mentioned this time and time again. So I don't know if you can see this. So right here, it comes with this sticker on it. A lot of people take the sticker off and there's so much powder, it's crazy. I take a pair of tweezers and I just poke 4 of the holes is what I start with. So you're not gonna get a lot of product, if you can see there on that. So I just tap it out. Okay, I do use their Poof, and I put the powder on with their Poof. Something about it, I used to use a brush. It just really kind of takes up any additional, sorry, that's loud, right? It picks up any additional foundation if there's too much. This also keeps that highlight looking very pretty, but it really is absorbing any excess product that might be the foundation, but it's also helping to really keep your skin looking fresh and oily combination. Keep it so the oils don't come out. Now I just tapped that twice and you can see what I just got there. So I just use that on each side and go over my nose. I'm not going under my eyes and I'm not going over my eyelids. I'm just going all around the perimeter of my face. Now you don't need to do your cheeks if you don't need to, but like as an example, you can see that. See, it has picked up any additional product. This is a couple times using it. I wash this every week. I just throw it in the laundry. It's super easy. But I do love that this picks up anything additional so that I'm not sitting there with like too much product on me either. The next thing I do is I just take a Q-tip, I wet it, and I wipe down my brows. So this is like a really, really wet Q-tip right now. So I take it and I wipe down both sides. And you can see, got a ton on it, right? Then I'm gonna take the other side, which is dry, and I go through and do the same thing again. So my eyebrows are microbladed. Actually, by the time this video goes up, I got a touch up this last week that just went by. If you follow me on Instagram, I have videos and videos about microblading. I did it way, way before a lot of people were doing it. Now it's very common to have it done, but I just had mine touched up, so I'm very excited about that. But that's why I'm taping this video now, so I can have it ready, because when you're having something like that done, you can't tape content videos because I can't do wear tests. I can't do get ready with me. Is like, I guess I could do some other form of video where I'm just talking, but I figured I haven't done a get ready with me in so long. So I did do that. So in the future, I won't have to do as much of this. I will still use the wet Q-tip and wipe them off. But right now I'm also filling them in with my Anastasia Brow Wiz in the color Caramel. And I won't typically have to do that. My brows are just so faded. It has been 2 years since I had them touched up because I was supposed to go last year in March to have them touched up. And that was when COVID broke out. And I've been at this house since then, back and forth a few times, but the girl I go to, she books up so fast and it's so hard to get in. And so with me being here, it was very difficult. So I got an appointment for the first week of March, and we're going back to the other house for that week, which this is after that. But I got an appointment with her in March, and I have a bunch of other like doctors, dentists, all of that. MJ is still saying remote until the end of this school year. So we are going to remain at this house through the year, but we have to go back to Maryland for other appointments and things like that. So anyway, I then take this, and I'm just trying to warm them up because mine, you got to remember, I use retinols and brightenes, and those fade this faster as well and kind of take out a little bit of the pigment of it, because microblading is just a top, it's not too deep of a layer. So when you can see the difference between those two, just a little bit of color. So when you actually use retinols and retines, I know I should avoid my eyebrows, but let's be realistic here. I just don't. I mean, it's just not something I think of. I'm going to have them touched up anyway. I don't mind. I look at it this way. I got microblading done because I have no, I mean, I will link the video down below. I had no brows. When I say no brows, I had no brows. So I do microblading and micro shading, I think it's called. So I think of it this way. This is like color by number, right? I've got the basic form of how I want to do it. Now I just have to color it in. So that's what I do as they fade. In the beginning, I don't need to do that, but as I am at this stage, I'm at the end of the life of them, kind of, you know. I definitely do need to color them in and get a little bit of that color back in there. So that is what I fill it in with. The next thing, guys, I love this thing. This is the Tarte, I think it's called the Tarte Palette. This palette, guys, is so me. It is pinks, it is browns, it is neutrals. It is so beautiful. And I have actually, you guys have noticed this over on Instagram, I have been using so many more pink kind of colors. I love pinks and browns together. So this is now available on their site, I believe. I bought it through QVC because it wasn't available anywhere else yet, and it came with a little brush, and I actually do use that brush. So the colors I'm using are this one right here, so second one down, first row, and then the second one as well. And I actually mix them together. So I'm just going to, let's see if we can show you this here. Touch this, touch this. I kind of go back and forth with the flat side of this. Tarte has such amazing eyeshadow palettes. Their shadows are so pigmented and so creamy and so smooth. I just love them. So I am just going all over my lid. Now I'm not going up into the brow where that color is that we put down from the highlight, but I'm just touching down on my lid. I go back and forth between those colors each time I do this, and it's just giving me like your lids, but better. You can see that there. And then I'm going to take the other side, which is the more fluffy side. And I am actually now going to go into this pink one with this pink one. And I sometimes mix in a little bit of that one. I kind of touch back and forth. So I start between the two, then I end a little bit over to the third. Tap that off. And I'm just using this right in my crease. And it's kind of like a really pretty, like pinky, kind of like, it's got a little bit of neutral to it. It's just so pretty, guys. I don't know what the deal is with me with pinks lately. I've really been enjoying it. I like the pink undertone of it. Just something probably as my skin is a little bit paler that makes it that I really like it. And I bring this up a little bit higher. So I'm not going into that highlight, but I'm definitely staying up and in that crease, okay? Then I bring a little bit onto that outer corner right there. Now I'm going to just take a clean brush, nothing on it, and I'm going to windshield wiper and kind of swirl it around to kind of blend that out a little bit more. Okay. Then I'm going to take that same brush again, and I'm going to go back in those lighter two that we talked about earlier. Okay, just get a little bit on here, and I'm going to touch it down right in the center of that lid to give myself a little bit of brightness there, just in case any of that color fell down from the top part. But I just, look at that. I don't know, something about it has just been working for me. The next thing I have been doing is I line my waterline, and I just go up and over with it. Just kind of coloring it in. Something about my eyes just work well with an eyeliner on the waterline. Some people don't, some people do. It is all personal preference. So this is what I have been doing there. And then I've been taking a, what are these called? Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner from Tula. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's just, I've been starting at the center and I'm doing like the smallest, thinnest line. Like I am staying so close to my lash line, guys. I am not looking to do this. I have not been doing a wing. I have just been doing like super, super, super close in to give myself, you see the difference between those two? Something about this just seems to lift my eyes. It actually creates a kind of thicker, darker lash line. So it actually looks like my lashes are thicker and darker. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I just realized I have white powder under my nose from when I was setting it. All right, we're going in on this side. Again, sometimes I start on the outer corner, sometimes I start on the inner corner. You know what I don't love about this? I feel like it doesn't, when I set it down, it doesn't consistently, oh, see, now I just made that thick. Oh, this liner does not consistently distribute product the same way, if that makes sense. Sometimes it's like super easy and it like fills it in great, and other times like this it touched down funny. So now I'm gonna make this one just a slight bit thicker to kind of even them out. Then I take my finger and I run it under my eyes. I got a little something there. Do the same thing on this side, just to get rid of any product or whatever might be built up underneath of there. I do then take just a pointed angled brush. I go in with usually this darker color. Sometimes I use this one. Sometimes I go between the two of them. I just tap down back and forth, tap it off, and I'm actually going to touch down onto that liquid liner that we just used. And this kind of, for lack of a better term, it smudges it out. It doesn't, no, this is what it is. It doesn't make it look as harsh. So it's a very harsh line because it's a liquid eyeliner, and this is making it thicker only because the eyeliner ended up being thicker. But you can see the difference between these two eyes here. It just gives it a little bit of a softer look to it. Now, once I do my mascara, it won't seem so harsh as it does right now. But it's definitely a thicker line than I typically like. But you know, it is what it is. Not every day is going to go the same. Another key thing is I'm not going to go right into my mascara now because I actually want the eyeliner and the shadow to set for a moment so that when I use my lash curler, it's not going to transfer off. So right now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my concealer. I started talking about this. I did a wear test and I'm obsessed with this. This is the Laura Mercier. I think it's called like the Flawless Fusion Concealer, and the color is 2C. Now I just put this down a little bit lower, so I'm not going right, and I've got a little breakout right here, so I'm going to put a little bit right there, but I'm going down lower, so I'm not going up by my lash line. I'm just putting one little spot out here because this is going to clean up anything I might have had fallout from as I did the darker eyeshadow. So as you saw, so again, I'm not up by my lash line, okay? I'm going to take a beauty blender, a damp one, and I'm just tapping this in right where it is. And then I'm taking it over and I'm using the outside bit just to clean up any shadow, any liner, anything to create a cleaner line. I used to do my concealer right after my foundation and before any eye products. And this I find just gives me a cleaner, more lifted look. Same thing on this side. Another key thing that I want to take into account and tell you guys is that typically a lot of people say to do your eyeshadow before your foundation and things like that. That way you can clean up afterwards and there's no fallout and all these different things. So for me, that doesn't work. I like to have my foundation on first. I need to see my face done. Like I don't need bronzer, blush, all that stuff. I just need to like kind of have a clean palette, for lack of a better term. So I like to put my foundation on, but I find I can get that same effect of cleaning up under the eyes by just doing my concealer after my makeup in my eyes. But that also gives me the opportunity to let any shadows and liners and things like that set. Next thing I'm going to use is my Laura Mercier secret under eye brightener powder, something along that line. This is a new one as well. I finally had to crack into one of these. Both of these powders are absolute must-haves for me. I did the same thing with this one. I tapped in 4 holes here. I will say I probably should have only done 2. Too much product, definitely came out with that. I use any type of fluffy kind of little brush. This used to be in a set. You can see there's a little bit on there, so I'm actually going to tap that off. Did you see that fly out? I don't want a lot of product under my eyes. So I tap this on, and then I take what's ever in the lid and do the other side, tap it off again, and then I just swipe to make sure there's no buildup under there. So I don't want a lot of powder under my eye because that's going to cause my under eye to crease more, and it's also going to cause it to be more cakey and heavier looking, and as we age, that is definitely something we don't want. Another thing I have been doing differently is I have been foregoing the use of bronzer. I find since I've used this highlighter, this actually creates that more defined look here rather than having to do a bronzer and then a highlight and then blush. By putting the highlight there, it actually creates what looks like a contour. I don't have anything on. You guys saw this. I haven't put anything on. So I've actually been not using a bronzer now that it's wintertime. I also find with me a lot of bronzers, and it's something with my skin tone, the fact that I have more of a pink undertone to it, that when I use a bronzer throughout the day, it oxidizes and turns more orangey on me. I need a very pink-based bronzer, which is super hard to find. I have found a few of them, and the ones I have I really like, but it's hard to find a good pink-based one. The funny part is, I don't even know if they make this anymore. My favorite one is from Laura Geller, and it's like bronze and brighten, and has pinks in it. That is my favorite one that I always go back to, that I'm like, why do I stop using that? So, as I mentioned, I have not been using a bronzer, but I've been putting blush on by itself. Now, I went back to a more neutral blush. I don't do well with a peach blush. Again, it just doesn't do well with my skin tone, but anything that's too pink also just doesn't work with me. I want something that just looks like a natural flush. I love this. I will have to look and see if they still make it. Last time I looked for it, I found one on Amazon and I bought it, so I have a backup. I've had this, and if you've been around for any period of time here on my channel, I have used this forever. It is the Cargo Tonga. Now, this is a matte blush. There is no shimmer to it. It looks like nothing. The closest thing I will say I have found to this is Tarte Exposed Amazonian Clay, if they still make that. I will look and link both of those down below. If I find this, I will. Something about this works for me. It is beautiful. Kristen Game and I both used to use this and wear this, or maybe she didn't use it, or she found, I don't remember. She and I both used to talk about it all the time. So I use a more densely packed brush. This is a Sephora Pro 90. I don't think they sell this anymore. It's just a densely packed brush, and I actually start kind of like I would with a bronzer. I start in the back, and then I go to the apples, okay? And I'm gonna work my way through, and you can see that. So that's giving me that same effect of a contour. Now that looks very harsh right now. Trust me, I'm well aware. We'll come back to that. So I'm going to do that same thing on this side, and I'm focusing on those apples and working my way kind of into that same area where I had the highlight. Okay. So I take a little bit also, and I do right at my hairline, just a touch, kind of makes it look like the sun touch down there. And as I mentioned, I have more of a pink skin tone. So this looks more realistic for me than a bronzer type of look. Now I'm taking a clean brush. This is just a fluffy brush, any type, and then I'm gonna just buff this out just a little bit. I'm not going super hard because I don't want to move the powder around that's on my face, but I'm softening that out just a little bit, okay? Look at that. It just looks so much better on me than a bronzer. I think as we age, we really learn what works better on us, and we don't stray too far. So you're not gonna be here on my channel seeing a bunch of different crazy looks, or me testing, you know, purple eyeshadows and the newest trend in makeup, this, that, and the other. I have learned that I feel the most confident and feel the best in myself when I use products that I know work and look good. It's just a better way for me. Now, I still haven't touched my eyes and my mascara yet. I have 2 new lip products that I've bounced back and forth between. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about both of them because I don't even know which one I wanna use today. I think I'm gonna go to this one. So you've all heard of Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. I have the original right here. This is the original Pillow Talk. It's gorgeous, pinky nude color. It looks amazing on so many different skin types. And I had heard someone on Instagram talking about this. It is Pillow Talk in medium. And I was like, what does that even mean? And it is just a tad bit darker. I'm gonna swatch these on my hands here and show you. And I just realized that the first one I showed you was the medium and the second one I showed you was the traditional. So this is Pillow Talk, the traditional Pillow Talk. This one here is Pillow Talk in medium. It's so pretty, guys. It's just like a step up. So if Pillow Talk on you is a nude undertone, this is a little bit more. It has more of a punch to it. Now I do want to tell you, you might be saying, well, what was that skinny little one you were holding? This is the Pillow Talk, and it is the lipstick with a gloss inside of it. And I'm going to put that on next to this to just show you. So you have, let me go back to it. You've got Pillow Talk here, medium here, and the glossy one here. Do you see that shine to it? How it's reflecting? It is so gorgeous, guys. You don't need a gloss with it, anything. And I have just been looking, see, now I'm like, do I show you the darker one or do I show you the shinier one? All right, we're gonna go with the medium one because I feel like that's one that not as many people have seen. I feel like Pillow Talk you guys have seen and you get what it means to have like a clear gloss on with it. So we're gonna use the medium. I haven't used lip liner in a long while. I do have lip filler, but the last time I had lip filler was, I had it tweaked in December. Might have been in June I had it done. That's right, I think it was June. So I haven't had it in a while. It usually lasts a year, give or take on me. All right, we're gonna use this. And again, I had that lip plumper I put on beforehand and you can see it. Plus the fact that I use that Iconic here. See how it transferred a little bit down to my bottom lip so my lips have like a sheen to them. So we're gonna use this. It's so pretty, guys. I don't wipe the lip plumper off. Sorry for the silence. Look how pretty. All right, so we have this on. This look can be a little bit monochromatic, but it ends up looking so great. And we still haven't even done mascara, guys. My all-time favorite must have, this is my go-to lip gloss slash lip balm. It is the Clarins Instant Light Lip Perfector in the color number 06. And I just put a little bit in the center and a little bit right on the top. Just gives it that little bit of sheen without being overpowering. So now we're gonna go on to the mascara, okay? So, Surratt Lash Curler. If you've watched my wear test videos, depends on your eye shape. Everyone's eye shape is different with an eyelash curler. This is the one I have found that works the best for my eye shape. All right, I also typically, I'm right-handed, start with my right eye. Today we're starting with our left eye. This is what I've been doing lately. So I start with my left eye, get it in good, and just clamp it. I pump it a few times and then I hold it for about 10 seconds. So after I've held it for a few seconds, I'll turn my head to the side. I then lift up and I pump it a few times and hold it for a couple seconds. Lift that off, and then I'm going to take my lash primer. Now, this is Lancome Sills Booster. It is a white lash primer. There are some lash primers out there that are tinted that I've heard of. I've heard that Benefit has a tinted one. I'm interested to try that. Some people do not like lash primers because they're white, but to me, they dry down. You're not gonna see the white under the mascara. While that one is drying, I then go to the other eye, do the same thing, get in towards that lash line, and then I take it, hold it, and pump it, and then I lift up again, just for a few seconds, and then I lift it off, and I'm doing the Lancome Sills Booster again on this side. What a lash primer does for me, I have stick straight lashes, and my lashes do not hold a curl, and I find when I use a primer, it holds the curl better. That is why when I do a wear test, I don't use the primer. And that's also why on foundations, I stopped using a primer underneath, because I find I want to test these even playing field with nothing on. This is new and I'm obsessed with it. If you've been around for any period of time, you will have heard me. I love Lancome mascaras. I have loved them for years, but this is the new one called the Lash Idle. This is so good, guys. It has this nice curved brush to it. Sorry, that's the lipsticks. It's plastic bristles, so if you don't like that, be aware. But it really gets down at the lash line the way that curve is and separates out and up. It's just so, so nice. So I kind of just go back and forth until my lashes are fanned out the way I want them to be. I also find I don't need as many coats of mascara when I do it this way. So I'm going to do this eye. So that primer has already dried. So I'm just working the mascara now onto those lashes. As I mentioned, there's no white left. You can't see anything. It dries clear. But something about these, I mean, they're both Lancome products, not that that matters, but something about a primer on my lashes just makes my lashes hold a curl so much better. So if you are someone that has an issue with that, that might be a possibility. Now, I will mention that some people have said to me, sorry, I'm wiping the swatches off my hand. Some people have said to me that using a lash primer, if you have stick straight lashes, some people have an issue because it's too heavy. I think that will depend on your lashes and the length of your lashes. My lashes are longer and a little bit fuller. I use a lash serum. I use the New Lash serum. I've tried all of them, guys. And New Lash is the one that I have seen. I would say it used to be the one from Roden Fields I had the best results from. Before that, it was Rapid Lash, I think it was called. My go-to now, I tried New Lash starting about a year ago, and I love it. The tube lasts longer than any others that I've tried. All the others seem to last about 3 months. The New Lash lasts about 6 months, which that's a huge difference if you're paying the same price for both of them. So I really just love that lash serum and I've had great results. Now, if I feel like my lashes are starting to fall, I will go in and recurl them throughout the day. I haven't been running into that issue now that I've been using this combination together, but that's just another note. But this is my total get ready with me look that I have been doing every single day. This has been my go-to look lately. So I hope you guys enjoyed this get ready with me, trying out some newer products and seeing how I use them and bringing back some old favorites. If you are new around here, I would love if you subscribed and followed along here. If you remember some of these OG products that I am talking about, leave me a comment down below. I love hearing from some of you that have been around for quite some time. And as always, guys, if you have any questions about anything I talked about here, please put them down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching and sticking with me, and have a great day.